Pacific Rim 2 Uprising. Now, this is the sequel to the first Pacific Rim, and this one's starring John Boyega as the son of the Idris Elba's character. He's playing Jake Pentecost, who's the son of Stacker Pentecost, who's the Idris Elba character. Now, I saw the first Pacific Rim. Did you see the first Pacific Rim?
I did.
And now, how did you like the first one?
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it quite a lot. It has a lot of flaws, a lot of it being in characterization, and I also wasn't the biggest fan on it taking place a lot at night, so you really couldn't see a lot of some of the action moments, but I thought the flow was fine. I was fine with the side characters, even though I can understand why some people didn't like Charlie Day and his other scientist buddy. It just kind of worked for me as a kaiju movie. It just kind of worked. I like the art style. I like Guillermo's style. Yeah, the only problems I have with it is, the characterization could have used a lot more work, and I could have been more invested in some of the more things, but I got what I came for, and I loved every second of it.
Okay. The first one for me, I didn't really like as much. I thought, like I said, a lot of the characters are just dull. I thought the only person who was really bringing a lot of energy to it was Idris Elba's character, and, with his big speech and everything like that, everybody remembers that, which is, like an Independence Day type speech. And for so long, when I saw the movie, for so long, I always thought Idris Elba was saying we are cancer in the apocalypse. I didn't know he was saying we're canceling. Yeah, I always thought he said cancer. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why I always thought that. I always thought he just said we're cancer in the apocalypse.
Today we face the monsters that are at our door and bring the fight to them. Today we are canceling the apocalypse.
But anyway, so I thought he was not even bringing any life to it. I thought Charlie Hunnam was really super dull and uninteresting. I thought a lot of the characters were, and I thought a lot of the humor was really bad, especially coming from Charlie Day and the scientist guy, who Charlie Day, if he's used effectively, he can be really funny, but mostly people get him in the movie to be like the erratic, crazy guy who just, says things really fast. But the only movie I've really ever seen him really work well was in Horrible Bosses, where they used that well. But yeah, I thought a lot of the humor is bad. But when I watched the movie, I thought, well, okay, a lot of this is bad, but what about the fights? That's got to look good, right? This is what I came in to see. Jaegers versus kaiju monsters. I think that looked like crap. I couldn't see what the hell was going on. It was in darkness and rain and at night and under the water sometimes. I was like, well, this is a fucking disappointment. The one main thing I came to see, and I can't even really get that from it. So I was kind of really disappointed by that. This one, and when we talked about the trailer for it, I was talking about how a lot of the fights, they look good. They look in daytime. It's in broad daylight. You can actually make out what's going on. And then when I was seeing a lot of the fights in the movie, I was really happy about it. Because like I said, you can see a lot of the fights. They're in broad daylight. All the Jaegers look very identifiable. So you know who's fighting who, even when it's like Jaeger versus Jaeger. You know who's fighting who. It's not like a Transformers movie where it's a bunch of metal clanking. It looks like a bunch of metal clanking together. Because all the Jaegers here, they all have these bright colors. One's bright orange, one's bright green, one's bright blue. They all have very distinctive colors, which is nice, which makes out in the fight. And the fight sequences are really good. It's just everything else that is the issue. But like with this movie, so like I said, it deals with the son of the Idris Elba's character, John Boyega. And we see him, he's kind of a degenerate, we've kind of seen this before, he's struggling to live up to his father's legacy, and he's kind of a scrapper and stealing, living on the streets, getting into all kinds of troubles like a rebel. And that leads him into meeting this 50-year-old hacker named Amara, who I think him and the girl, I actually do think they have pretty good chemistry together. I think some of their scenes are pretty good. The dialogue in this movie is pretty awful. But I think John Boyega can carry it beyond that point, because I think he's just that likable and just that charismatic. that he can do that. And that's one of a benefit of this movie, along with the action, that I really think is an improvement over the first one, because you actually have a lead character who is actually someone you want to follow. And, you know, it's up to him and the Scott Eastwood character to kind of lead this new generation of these Jaeger pilots. They call them, you know, Rangers. You know, like in Deadpool 2 trailer, it says we need good young kids. We can have 10 to 12 years of franchises of some good young talent, so they can carry a franchise for 10 to 12 years.
We're gonna form a super duper fucking group. We need them tough, morally flexible, and young enough to carry their own franchise for 10 to 12 years.
So that's what these young kids are. You know, you got like a Russian girl and an Asian guy, and you know he's up to him and Scott Eastwood kind of lead this whole new generation of these pilots. And watching the movie, you'll get a lot of Power Rangers feel from like anime or Power Rangers, if that's like your type of thing. But it's funny because if like the Power Rangers movie, like the first half of it with the great teen drama could meet with this movie, it could be so much better. It could just be way better, because like a lot of these people, like a lot of the kids are super uninteresting except for the Amara girl, which is a real shame. And like you almost wish it just was just fighting. Like in this movie, it's because when they get to actual people talking to each other, it's terrible, and the movie just feels like it's such a slog to get through. And the movie's not that long. I think the movie's only like an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. It's not that long, but whenever they get to talking, it just feels like such a slog to get through. And then you have Scott Eastwood in the movie, who's generic kind of tough guy. You know, I mean, he looks a lot like his dad. I mean, it's like he's like the spitting image of his dad, but he's just so pretty looking. He doesn't sell tough guy at all. Like not even a little bit. Like he doesn't sell an authoritative figure whatsoever. And you have, you know, the Charlie Day character and the scientist guy come back, but they're not together through most of the movie, which is nice because, you know, I don't think they have that terrible humor like they had in the first one. So that element is kind of taken out. And me thinking about it, like me not being a fan of the first one, I'm thinking like, do I like this actually better? Maybe by a hair, because like I said, with the fights, I think they look way better. If that's what you mainly came to see, I think you'll get it better here than in the second one than you did in the first one. And I think there's a better lead character here. But it's still nothing that remarkable. It's still nothing that special, I think. Maybe, I mean, I heard somebody who saw it in 3D who had a really good time seeing it like 3D, you know, D-Box. If you want to spend that extra money, I'd say it'd probably be worth it to do that, to just get that full immersive feeling with the action scenes. So I give it a thumbs up for that. But if you're just kind of like, if this is not your thing, like you look at like giant robots fighting giant monsters, then it's just that's your thing. You're not going to get like a great story from this. So I'd say a thumbs down for that. So if you're the type of person who looks at this and you're that interested in that type of stuff, go see it. But if you're not, you know, like you're not going to get anything else from it. So thumbs down for that. Hello, thanks for checking out our content. If you liked it, let us know. And if you didn't, let us know that as well. If you want to see more content, we post every Saturday on SoundCloud. You can also find us on various social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram,